What top performers know is that vision and goals alone are just a recipe for a great idea at best. I'll be back in 20 seconds to tell you what else you need to make all of this work at a high level. Stick around. Okay, welcome gamers to preseason training day 9, inside of the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. My name is Chris Allen-White. I am the game master, and my role in the game today, if you're with us for the first time, it's mission critical. And that role is to simply disrupt your thinking. Why do I want to do that? Because I want to empower you to live outside of your phone booth so that you can share your extraordinary with the world. Now, what in the heck does living outside of the phone booth have to do with anything? Well, just ask yourself this question. What would have happened had this guy, Superman, never gotten out of his phone booth? I mean, quite literally, what would have happened? Exactly. Nothing would have happened. And that's why living outside of your phone booth every day is priority number 1. My friend, if you're ready, then I'm ready. Game on. All right, gamers. Today, I want to talk to you about the idea that vision and goals without execution steps are just a great idea at best. You know, I love what George Patton said when he said that a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. So today we're talking about creating the execution steps that you will put into your plan in order to achieve the goals that you identified yesterday. And hopefully those are the same goals that you've already put into your playbook. I trust that you have. Okay, so here's what you need to hear today. I want to encourage you to focus on 1 to 2, maybe 3 things that you want to make progress on in the next 12 weeks. Okay, those 1 to 3 things are the goals that should be in your playbook. Now, here's what I want you to understand is the fewer goals and weekly actions, the easier the plan will be to execute. Okay, so let me give you some tips on how to do this. Number 1, don't overanalyze the content of your plan. Don't get stuck in that mental trap of perfectionism, okay, which is my second tip. Avoid the perfectionism trap, okay? Perfectionism doesn't exist, okay? Once you have a good plan, your execution of the tactics will help you refine the plan, okay? So don't go for perfectionism right out of the gate. Go for a good plan. As you start to take action, as you start to implement and execute those tactics in the plan has a way of perfecting itself, if you want to think of it from that standpoint. Okay. Number 3, let me give you some perspective. Planning is just problem solving. That's what planning is. You are creating a plan to close the gap, right? In preseason training day 8, we talked about structural tension. You are creating that gap in your subconscious mind when you set a big goal. Okay, that gap is the structural tension. And so planning is problem solving. It's creating a plan to close that gap from where you are currently now to where you want to be in 12 weeks. Remember, we are focused, we are time-bound, focused on 12 weeks, the 12-week season. Okay, number 4, I want to encourage you to avoid the most common thinking flaw that many fall victim to. Okay, and that thinking flaw is that most people think they don't have time to plan. I know I've been a victim of this thinking flaw in my business. Most people think they don't have time to plan. Let me ask you this. Did you know that studies have shown if you take time to plan before engaging in a complex task, that you actually reduce the overall time required to complete the task by as much as 20%. So just remember that next time you get stuck self-sabotaging by thinking, I don't have time to plan. You're actually costing yourself more time in the execution side if you choose to avoid the planning time. Okay? Now, here's why you need to hear this message today. The execution steps are going to pull you closer to your goal throughout the season. This is the day-to-day activity that you're going to be doing to pull you closer to your goal. And as you achieve your goals, you will begin to see your vision take shape and become more of a reality for you. And isn't that the whole purpose of why we're doing this? Okay, so here's what I want to encourage you to do. Okay, I want to encourage you to get out your playbook. Hopefully by now you got your playbook, you got your vision in there, you got your goals in there. I want you to write the actions in priority order, the daily and the weekly actions that you must take to achieve your goals. So if you've got 3 goals, what you're gonna do is this. Let me walk you through the steps. Number 1, you're gonna brainstorm all the possible actions. So you're gonna do this in your playbook. Okay, remember, because putting pen to paper is a very, very powerful thing. So you're gonna wanna get in your playbook and you're going to want to brainstorm all possible actions for that goal, okay? And then select the ones with the greatest impact. Prioritize the actions and select the ones that are going to have the greatest impact. You're not necessarily going to do all of the actions. You just want to get them out of your mind and onto paper. Okay, now there's different types of actions. There's repeating actions, and then there's one-time actions. Okay? For example, in my business, a repeating action is every single day I'm creating a new training for the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. That's a repeating action. The one-time action was perhaps creating this graphic that I created for the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship. That'd be a one-time action. Okay, so you want to write your actions as full sentences that start with a verb and describe the action that you intend to take. For example, inside of my playbook, right, I've got an execution tactic that says create an extraordinary game of entrepreneurship training every day. So every day in my execution plan, I see create an extraordinary game of entrepreneurship training today. Okay? What I want you to do after you've brainstormed all the possible actions, right? So you're going to do this for each goal, remember. So at the top of your paper, you're going to put goal number 1. You're going to write down what the goal is, and then you're just going to brainstorm all the possible actions that you could take to achieve that goal. Then what you're going to do is prioritize those actions. You're going to figure out which one of those are you actually going to do. And then the last step you're going to do is you're going to decide which week of the 12-week season do I need to do this action step in? Which week? Okay? And then once you get all the actions into the week, then you can decide in priority order, which ones do I have to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? What actions do I have to get done by the end of the week so that I can move into the next week? Okay, remember, as high-level entrepreneurs who are focused on execution, we are focused on the now. We're focused on today. We are planning for the 12 weeks, but we are focusing on the week and the day. Okay, so specificity is very, very important. Now, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do this? Why is taking the time to plan and to create all of the execution steps for your plan, why is this so important? Because and here's why. It's because your execution steps are going to do a few things. Number 1, they're going to bring focus to your day. How many times have you woken up, to start your day and you sit on your computer and you don't even really know what you should be working on and you don't have a plan in place, you haven't thought about a vision, you don't have any clear goals mapped out, you haven't taken the time to brainstorm through, the most important actions that you can then prioritize. And so you just wake up and you're really living your life by what I call default rather than design. You're living your life by default. You wake up, you sit in front of the computer and you spend your prime time, the time when your mind is most engaged, most alive, most energetic, most ready to create results. You spend that time sitting there thinking about, what am I going to do today? Okay. So when you execute in your business the way that we're talking about here, you're going to bring focus to your day. Number 1, you're going to empower yourself to say no to unimportant things that are time wasters and productivity killers. Okay, when I was first learning how to do this in my business, one of the habits I had to really work hard to break was answering my phone every time it rang, or checking a Facebook message every time I got a notification on my phone. So what I do now is if I get a message that distracts me on my phone, I'll just turn the phone over. If I don't remember to do that when I start working, if I've got the phone laying here, I'll just turn it over so I can't see any of those distractions and I've got my phone on silent. That's just an example, but it allows me to say, my plan allows me to say no to unimportant things that are just time wasters and they're going to kill my productivity. Okay? These execution steps are also going to empower you to make high impact commitments because you've taken the time to sit down and brainstorm and think through what are the high impact commitments that I can make in my plan, and so that when you wake up every day, you've already got your high impact tasks there, and you can be really inspired by that. Okay, which leads me to my next point, which is by doing this, you're going to empower yourself to feel a sense of accomplishment as you're moving through the season, day by day, week by week. And we've already talked about many, many times the power of your feelings and the importance that your feelings play in the game. In the game. If you just think about, say, I always think about sports and I think about the NFL and I think about players on the field, and the first one that comes to mind is Ray Lewis, the great linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens who recently retired, and just the passion and the energy, the feeling that he brought to the game. That's what creating an execution plan is going to do for you. And then the last reason why this is important for you that I'll give you today is by doing this, you're going to build momentum from one strategically focused execution step to the next, okay? And momentum is one of the most powerful, awesome, exciting things you can create in your business, because once that momentum gets going, it's virtually impossible to stop unless you stop it on purpose. Okay, but you got to do all these things that we've talked about to get that momentum going. It's like get that train moving, right? Get the engine going, you get the momentum going, you get that locomotive running down the tracks. Whew, you better not get in front of that thing, right? Because it's going to be game over if that happens. Okay, so this is how I want you to look at your business and look at the things that you are executing on your business to move you closer to your goals. Okay, so action step for today, get your playbook out, my friends, and start going through the execution steps in priority order that you need to do for each goal. Break those steps down into the week that they need to happen, and then we want to start looking at which of those steps should I do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Remember, we're going to be starting our season next week. Okay? Training day, that's going to be training day. What are we talking? Do the math on that. 15. Training day 16. Next week. We're going to be doing it next week. Okay? Next Monday. So, you want to be ready to jump into the week full steam ahead, jump into the game, right? We want to be crushing it come Monday morning when you wake up. When you're going to bed Sunday night, I want it to be one of those experiences where, man, it's hard for you to go to sleep at night. It's hard for you to go to sleep next Sunday night because you know it is game on the minute that alarm clock goes off on Monday morning, okay? So get your action steps done. My friends, I'll be back tomorrow for training day 10 to talk to you about the most important part of your day. I'll see you then. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. And remember, gamers, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So get out of your phone booth and go share your extraordinary with the world.